Hi. Today I am making a lemon cake. I made one last week and it was really good, but it disappeared really quickly. Now, I have washed my lemons and I washed them in vinegar and water and I've zested them. So I'll have my zest. And what I'm doing is I've doubled my recipe. Instead of making it in a low pan, I'm going to make it in a bundt pan. A friend of mine sent this to me, Kim from Kentucky, because I started collecting bundt pans because I like to make milk wafer cakes. And I just started making them in different designs. And she sent me one for my birthday last year, so I'm going to make it in here. It usually bakes in the low pan for 55 minutes to an hour, but it's going to have to bake longer in this bundt pan. So I'm going to read you off the recipe. I've doubled it because I'm making a bigger cake. 3 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 tablespoons of lemon zest, 1 cup of unsalted butter. I'm using kerrygoldbutter and white lily flour for best results. 2 cups of sugar, 4 large eggs, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 4 tablespoons of lemon juice. They say that's 1 lemon, but you got to have big lemons for that. And 1 cup of buttermilk. Now there's a syrup, and it calls for 8 tablespoons of lemon juice, 6 tablespoons of powdered sugar. And here's the icing. 2 cups of powdered sugar sifted. You need to sift it so you don't have any lumps in it. 3 tablespoons of lemon juice and 2 tablespoons of milk. Now in a medium bowl, you're going to combine your 3 cups of flour, your 3 teaspoons of baking powder, and your 2 tablespoons of zest. And I've got that in the bowl, and I've combined it, and I've mixed it up, and you set that aside. In your stand mixer, you put your 2 sticks of butter, your 2 cups of sugar, and you mix on medium-high till pale and fluffy. It says 4 to 6 minutes. Mine's been mixing probably about 3 minutes. Scraping the sides as needed. So I've got this going. I'm going to let it mix a little longer. I'm juicing my lemons, and I will come right back to y'all whenever I get my lemons juiced. I've got my butter and my sugar fluffy. Let me see if I can show it to you. It's pale and it's really fluffy, and it says to turn down and add 1 egg at a time. So I'm going to pop my eggs in a bowl because I don't want to get any shell in my cake. So 1 at a time. I'm going to add that in. This has been sitting out for a couple hours because I knew I was going to make this. Number 2. Three. It says that you can use lemon juice out of the jar that you buy at the store, but I didn't want to. The other day I made that one and it was really good. I just hope that doubling the recipe I'm not making a mistake. But we shall see. Okay, and it says 1 at a time, then add your vanilla extract. So 2 tablespoons. I'm going to add my 4 tablespoons of lemon juice into this. My lemons were small. And I'm going to turn it up to medium. It says beat on medium-high until combined. And then I'm going to add 1/3 of my flour mixture, and then half of my buttermilk, another 1/3 of my flour, half of my buttermilk, and the rest of my flour. I'll make sure this is well combined. And you don't want to let it beat too long whenever you have your flour in there, because it will release the gluten and it will make it dense. I've got my oven preheating to 350. Now I'm going to add 1/3 of my flour mix. Let me get a spoon. Add half my buttermilk. And I'm going to add another 1/3 of my flour. I just mopped my floor, so of course I'm going to get it everywhere. It really smells good. Add the other half of my buttermilk. And you always want to end with your flour. Everywhere. And I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of my flour in. And this is your flour, your baking soda, your baking powder, and your lemon zest. And it makes a pretty thick batter. Some people weigh their flour because they don't feel like it's accurate when you spoon it. I just try to spoon it very loosely. And I'm just going to mix that till it's well combined. Got more flour on my countertops. And before I zested my lemons, before I zested them, I put them in water and vinegar, and then I scrubbed them with my vegetable scrubber. going to clean this off and I'm going to let it beat just a little bit more. It's got some lumps in it. But that might be my lemon zest. Mix a little bit, just a little bit more. Got my pan sprayed really well because I don't want it to stick. I'd be heartbroken. I don't know why it does that. Really fluffy. They say that the longer you beat your butter and your sugar, the fluffier and softer your cake's going to turn out. And I beat mine for about 8 minutes. It says 4 to 6 minutes. And the last one I made was really fluffy. It was moist. It was just a really good cake. And we'd love to eat. Just make sure you get enough lemons if you're going to double the recipe. If you've got a family, you probably will want to double it because we ate it in 2 days, the loaf cake. And that was just eating it for dessert after dinner. I'm surprised my cat's not in here somewhere. It's like he knows when I'm doing something. He's followed me all over the house today. Whenever I clean, he follows me. Whenever I'm sitting still, he tortures me or leaves me. I'm going to spray in these creases a little bit more. I don't want to take a chance of it sticking. I'd rather have a lot of this in it. big spoon. Well, I could use this. I want to make sure it drops straight down in there. I don't want it to fall off the sides. It smells good. And I've got my lemon set aside for the syrup and for the icing because it takes both. And I'll let you know how long it cooks in this pan. And if it starts getting brown too soon, I will lay aluminum over it. I had to do that in the loaf pan, just like you do with the pie. You just lay aluminum over it so it doesn't get too brown. It didn't rise a whole lot in the loaf pan. I do remember that. So I'm not concerned about it rising. I have to watch out for my Nilla wafer cakes. But I'll put it on a cookie sheet just in case. And I'm going to make sure there's no bubbles. Okay, I'm going to put it in the oven, and I'm going to clean up my mess, and when I bring it out, I'll let you know. I just checked my cake. It's been in there 49 minutes, and it's not done. I'm using wooden skewers to put it in there, and in the loaf pan, it's supposed to cook for 55 minutes. So at an hour, I'm going to check it again and see how it looks. And I did double the recipe, and I put it in a bundt pan, so this is all trial and error, so I'll let y'all see how it turns out. My cake's been baking for an hour and 15 minutes. I just inserted my skewer, and it came out clean, so I'm going to take it out. Now, the spray that I sprayed my pan with, it came out. It bubbled over, but that's okay. It's okay. I got a little brown, but that's okay too. Greg likes some brown. And it's got to cool for, let me make sure. I'm pretty sure it's at least 30 minutes. I'm going to let it cool for 30 minutes before I put my syrup on there. And I will show y'all how I do that when I come back. Now let me forewarn y'all, whenever I took my cake off of the baking dish, this is what I had. So it bubbled over and down the middle. When I turn my cake out, we'll see how it turned out then. Okay, my video cut off, and I've got to start new. I have inverted my cake. Now what I have to do is I have to make the syrup. So I'm going to make the syrup, which consists of 8 tablespoons of lemon and 6 tablespoons of powdered sugar. I'm going to get me some more powdered sugar. And this is not going to be thick. It's going to be very thin. Now, my cake turned out like I showed y'all. The dome of it just boiled out the top. I guess because there was too much cake mix. But it's done. So it says 8 tablespoons of lemon juice. I'm going to read the instructions for y'all. Shadow, don't get in there. If the cabinet opens, he wants in it. Okay, the syrup consists of 8 tablespoons of the lemon juice and 6 tablespoons of powdered sugar. Now, I'm going to read y'all where I took it out of the oven. And I let it cook, I think it was 1 hour and 15 minutes. And you have to watch it really close while it's in the oven. And it says let cake cool for 30 minutes. And that's what I did. It's cooled for 30 minutes. It says stir together your powdered sugar and lemon juice. For the syrup, carefully invert cake, which I've done that, onto cooling rack. Then brush the syrup on the cake while it's still warm. My cake is still warm. So I'm going to put my lemon juice. 2, 6, 7, 8, and 6 tablespoons of powdered sugar. Get on the refrigerator. Go ahead. You can't get up there. And I'm going to take it out of here because I've sifted that sugar. This does not need to be sifted. I don't want to make another mess. I've cleaned up enough today. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shadow's getting on top of the refrigerator. 5. 6. I haven't made a mess anyways. You stir that up. Where's my dishcloth? There it is. Shadow quit. Let me get this cap. Okay. You stir it up, and it's real liquidy. It's not thick like the icing's going to be, which the icing, you're not supposed to let it be real thick. And then you take your little brush. Let me see if I can get y'all to be able to see this. There you go. And it came out pretty. And you brush it all over. And this is really tangy. You can taste it whenever you eat the cake, you can taste this part of it. Now, I ate what was on it. Well, the dome that was left out. I ate that because I have no self-discipline. And it's good. The cake is really good. It didn't stick. It did in a couple places, but I think that's just because the cake is so heavy. I can't tell you right now what I would do differently. I think I don't think I would use as much cake batter, but I don't know yet how to cut those ingredients down. And you brush it all over the cake. You don't want to put it all on the top of the cake. It will not go down to the sides. And you don't want it to all soak in the top. You want it all over your cake. I never know where he's at. He likes to get on top of the refrigerator and on top of the kitchen cabinets. I have downloaded an app on my phone, and it's caused me to have pop-ups. And when an ad pops up, it cuts my camera off, so I've got to make sure I get that off my phone. This syrup, when it dries on the plate, it gets real sticky. But it tastes so good. And like I said, this pan was a gift to me, and it makes a really pretty cake. And I'm just going to make sure that I have syrup all over my cake. And that's what you want to do. You want to use all of it. And I'm going to get it in my little crevices real good. And we'll cut this cake tonight. We just ate dinner while we was waiting for the cake to cool. I can hear my husband and my son in there talking about the Torah. I'm sorry that there are two parts to this video, but after all this work, I wasn't going to give up. I wasn't. And I'm learning how to edit. And I can't download them both at the same time. I have some crumbs on here. But the pan works pretty good. I've always used Baker's Joy. And for my Nilla wafer cakes not to stick, I really like the Baker's Joy. And I was surprised that this popped out as easy as it did. I'm splattering it everywhere. And you're supposed to let your cake cool completely off before you put your icing on it. So when it does cool completely off, we will ice in it. And like I said, if you want to, you can cut the ingredients in half and make it in a loaf pan. That's how I did it the first time. And it had to cook for an hour in a loaf pan, and there was a lot less cake. Probably have more on my countertop than I do on this cake. But let me let this cool completely off, and I'll be back. Okay, we're ready to do the icing. The icing consists of 2 cups of powdered sugar sifted, and you want to sift it so there's no lumps in it. 3 tablespoons of lemon juice and 2 tablespoons of milk. So I'm going to add my lemon juice. 1, 2, 3, and my 2 tablespoons of milk, which I've already got them measured out. I didn't think this was enough liquid the first time that I made this, but it come right together. You don't want it too runny. And let's see. It's a little thick. Let me taste it. I'm going to put just a little bit of lemon juice in it. And I'm having to do this because I'm making it bigger than it originally was. And I think that's good. And you can see the consistency of that. Okay, I have my icing mixed, and you can see it's not real thick and it's not real runny. I'm going to take a spoon and I'm going to spoon it around. If you would you hit that subscribe button? Let me get you all cocked up here. Hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. And I'm going to take it by the spoons and spoon it all the way around. This will get hard on you, so if you don't work with it pretty quickly. This is a pretty pan. It makes a pretty cake. I've already uploaded a video on my vanilla wafer cake, which is one of our favorites. I make it for my father-in-law because it is his favorite, and I make it every holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas. And since he's gotten older, I make it for him for his birthday because I know he likes it and I want to do something nice for him. I know on my birthday I'd want to have the cake that I like the best. I'm trying to make sure I get it down in all these little crevices. I have a closing in the middle of this cake. I should have opened it, but I didn't notice it until I started doing the syrup on it. And this cake right here has been trial and error. I wanted to make it bigger because the loaf cake didn't last very long, and I guess I could have made it in 2 loaf pans. gonna put it on a cake pan. I mean, in a cake carrier. But that's it. And I know it's going to be good because I've tasted it before. And I did, like I said, I had my self-control, so I ate the middle out of it whenever I took it off the baking sheet. And the cake was really good. If you don't mind, hit that subscribe button. And thanks for joining me. And y'all have a great night.